Good afternoon, beloved community. I'm Melissa Miller, host of The Chosen Heroes, and thank you so much for joining me this fine Sunday afternoon. We have a great guest, a returning guest. Armando Delatorre is joining us today. He is the creator and founder of Target Source LLC. So we've got a great episode ahead. And as always, let's kick it off with the Targeted Justice News and Review for this week.
Many TIs are reporting computer problems. Tails system on an USB stick. In many cases, Tails still runs even if nothing else works. It's good for basic functions like surfing, watching videos, and reading emails. Also, running Linux from a DVD drive is another option. Linux Mint boots quickly and includes a browser and other basic software.
Get some security tape for sealing your door locks. This tape will peel apart if anyone tries to remove it. It makes for a secure lock cover. Sign the tape with a permanent marker and take a picture before leaving and when you return. There are different brands and rolls and strip sizes. You can find many places that sell security tape by searching the net.
We have a list of law firms that mention Havana syndrome or other TI terms. Targeted Justice does not have a relationship with these companies, and this list is not a recommendation.
On the latest episode of The Gavel, Analog Anna got settled in Washington, D.C. She is now knocking on doors and sending letters out to senators requesting meetings. She asks that you do the same. Contact your state's representatives for a meeting. Even after you have been rejected, or your representative is part of the deep state, keep trying so you at least have a record of your attempts. Also, we have translated Dominic Halpin's Cognitive Liberty into several other languages. We will have more translations coming down the pipeline. Please share these with other TIs that is in their native language.
Calling all digital warriors. Repost, like, and share this video on all social media. We're on the lookout for volunteers. You can let us know what your skills are by emailing us at tjustice2@proton.me. Put volunteer in the subject line. If you're looking for more targeted justice content, then go to the following link, which will take you to our channel on Rumble. We have our own branded shirts, cups, and other merchandise at our online store. Buy something for yourself or get a gift. We're always accepting donations. You can do so by going to the following link or sending us a check. The donations are tax deductible, and we're a non-profit organization. Thank you so much for watching this video. God bless. God bless. God bless.
Great work, Sean, on the Targeted Justice News and Review. I always enjoy watching the videos. Before we bring up Armando to the stage, I have a couple of announcements. I want to give a shout out to Tranquility and the amazing work that she does on tievents.org. It's just, she's doing a beautiful thing for this community. It's your one-stop place for all events related to targeted individuals. It's just, I have a great feeling that, you know, the exposure is getting to the point to where it's going to be undeniable. I feel that God, you know, continuously is putting this on my heart really strong these days. There is so many whistleblowers and more information. The excellent documentary that came out by Dominic Halpin last week, I mean, it's just so incredible. We've got so many, there's so many. We're getting a lot of spotlight and attention on this, you know, and, you know, shame on those who didn't do anything sooner, but we're not relenting. We're going to keep, persevering through this, and our voice will not be silenced. I want to mention Anna Toledo is just now, she's got settled in DC, and she's going to extend out her stay, hopefully, for about 6 months. But in order for her to do that and to continue to hit the payment and to be that voice for us in DC in front of all those influential senators and all of the staff there, and if anybody knows Anna, she's unrelenting. She's not going to stop until she gets us the attention that we need. But if you are able to continue to help support her being there, as she does this very diligent and important work for us, please go to the GiveSendGo.com page /Toledo and make a donation. Any amount helps. Upcoming guests for On the Chosen Heroes, we got next week Derek Robinson, who is the president of PAX International, joining us. You won't want to miss that. Rounding out at the end of November will be Valdemar de Oliveira, and he is the VP for Targeted Justice Latin America. He has some very important updates to provide us. I appreciate all who like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Chosen Hero social media channels. I really appreciate your support. I do this for each and every one of you every single day. I pray for this community and for our liberation and the freedom from the shackles of this oppressive systems of mind control, torture, directed energy. We are so special to, and our voice is so important during this critical time for humanity, because we are the ones that have experienced this while the rest of the world is asleep to this. So we have to continue to, gain that courage and that momentum, and knowing and trusting that we have been dealt a very important task. And that task is to not be silenced and isolated, to speak out about what is being done against us, because it is that important right now. The future of humanity is on the line. If we do not do this and strengthen our numbers, then we just become a casualty of God's design of being sovereign, autonomous beings that have free will choice without an override of frequency and manipulation and distortion that these technologies try to do to our biofield in our bodies and our mind and our central nervous system. So please take heed that it is a very important time for us to strike while the iron is hot and to speak out against these atrocities being done to us. I encourage you, if you've been on the fence and not knowing whether or not you want to share your story on a platform or a podcast such as The Chosen Heroes, I ask that you gently please reconsider doing that, if not on The Chosen Heroes or another platform, but get your voice heard so that we can just strengthen our numbers. So before I bring him up, I know that some are very familiar. He's been a guest before. Armando Delatorre is the innovative creator and founder of Target Source LLC. You've likely heard from me, I know multiple times, and probably elsewhere as well, of his renowned Silent Night device that is engineered to counter voice-to-skull transmissions, to interrupt remote neural monitoring, and lessen the effects of behavior modification technologies. Armando has been hard at work refining and expanding his product line, and he'll dive into these updates during the podcast today, complete with a live demonstration. So when used as intended, countless individuals in the targeted community have experienced substantial relief from his inventions, which he first developed to protect his own family, driven by a desire to extend that same solace to others facing similar assaults, Armando is passionate about empowering those in need. If you or your loved ones are enduring targeted attacks, this is invaluable insight and advice drawn directly from Armando's journey and his family's journey that will be discussed in this podcast today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Armando up to the static, loud. Try to connect you and coming back in. Yeah, it's not getting better. It's not working.
Not working?
Oh, that's better. Can you talk some more? Let's see.
Is that better?
Yes.
Check 1, check 2.
Okay. Much better. Oh my goodness. Right. Yes, much better. Yes, it was you know, as anyone who's been on tuned into this podcast, we never know what we're going to be dealt with technology and interference and stuff. Especially, you know, Armando having something that, you know, can provide relief to many targeted individuals, myself included. I have several of his devices, and so let's get back on track. And so your products were originally created to help your own family. Can you elaborate on the specific challenges your family faced and how that shaped your work and led you into inventing the Silent Night and the Silent Night Great Reset?
Sure thing. First of all, thank you for having me again. I always enjoy being on your podcast. And as far as the journey with my family, it's been a long journey. It's been a long 6 years now. And, well, it took me about 1.5 years to finally get something that actually could work or was working for my wife, because it all started with her. And as soon as I started, helping her and blocking what they were doing to her, it didn't take but about 2 months, and they started attacking me and my 3-year-old daughter at the time. She was 3. So I went to work even more so and started optimizing the design, and it was Anna that said that I needed to get this out there to the other TIs and the TI community. So really, I could thank her for me bringing it to the community. But it's been a heck of a ride, and I love my family like most husbands would, and fathers, and I wasn't going to give them up to the criminals. So it was quite an experience, and I did learn a few lessons that I guess God was wanting me to learn throughout that time period that it took me to figure out how to do what we do now, and in the end, I couldn't find anybody to help me. I couldn't find anybody with any technical expertise, with signal analyzing and RF engineering. And really, I finally turned to God and prayed. And and little by little, I was shown the answer and shown the path of where the answers were, and from there, you know, we're here. So I could honestly say that our quality of life is a lot better than it was when we first got targeted. Um,
Your fur baby.
Sorry about that. Yeah, somebody's here. I think either her. Yeah, not worried about her. So I've been optimizing the Silent Night device ever since the first generation I came out with, um, which, if you remember, it was this tube style PVC. Um, it was my first one I ever came out with, and I didn't know anything about.
I do remember
You
that.
remember?
I attended a Targeted Justice monthly meeting in Houston, and it was that cylinder,
Right.
style design. And I remember sitting with others that were there, and I felt, calmer and relief at that time. And it wasn't long after that I got the version that was the double juggernaut with the telescope, antennas on it. That was my
With the
first
black
one.
box. Yeah,
Yes.
telescoping night. Yeah.
So, and then I continued.
It's lots.
So yeah,
No, go
that
ahead. I'm
helps
sorry.
out me. Yes, because I was using it nightly, and to the point that I was like, I have to have a backup because it's that important to me. So can you walk us
And
through? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
no, I was just ask, how's your? I know your husband he's a non-TI, correct?
Correct.
And
And
did you
but
see any?
he does get some ear ringing from time to time, but
Right.
not 100% if it's related to targeting or not. But yes,
Did you
and
see an improvement with his mood and behavior after you started using the selenite?
I think we're just good because I run it at bedtime, and I know that he sleeps very soundly and everything. But with me, at times they want to try different directional
Right.
uh, ways of trying to get through it, and I can always tell when they're attempting to do that, because then like ringing will be kind of
It's never.
higher in my ears, but then they can't get through with that voice transmission in the way that
Right.
they like to. I'll hear the walls start to popping in different directions within the bedroom too, like they're trying different angles and stuff within
Right.
it. And I do have the newer version that is pictured on the screen here that doesn't it doesn't have the antennas on it. It has a
No,
rubber
it's
dial on it, so you can
it's
adjust the
it's actually
frequency. Mm-hmm.
correct. The antenna's internal. It has a marine grade heat shrink to protect your finger for when you can adjust it on the fly while it's on. Um, but essentially, it's very compact, and you can use pretty much any battery bank to power it. Um, it's very efficient, and it's a lot more safe now than with my first generation, and even the ones with the telescoping antennas, where they're potentially you could get a nice little bite if you touch both antennas at the same time. Um, but we've removed that safety issue, and made it a lot more safe to have around kids and pets. Pets can get curious. Obviously, kids can get into everything. Toddlers. Um, so it's definitely a lot more safe, and the the output is it's much stronger as far as the coverage. The bandwidth is a little wider. Um, with this latest update, you have an option to adjust it for corona discharge if you wanted to make some ozone in your living space and clean the air, or adjust it for maximum RF shielding.
Okay, so can you kind of expand upon that and walk us through the development process of the Silent Night and what makes it so effective against voice to skull transmission, the remote neural monitoring, and the behavior modification?
Okay, well, let's start with I guess optimizing it. I really don't have time for much for anything, but when I'm waiting for a batch of Silent Nights for the epoxy to set, or just random time when I can have a chance to work on optimizing it, I have a separate Silent Night that I add parts, remove parts, and calculate components and look at theories and try different topologies to see if I can get a better optimized design. So that happens throughout the weeks as I'm fulfilling orders. I'm always constantly trying to improve it, and I believe that if we constantly update it or optimize it, it'll make it a lot harder for them to try to circumvent it, or finding one way to circumvent all of them. So try to mix it up and keep them on their toes, because they definitely try that. They do it to us. So from there, it's pretty much the design is pretty much stayed the same as far as in this type of enclosure. Where are we going with this?
Well, you were going to kind of draw upon from the scientific or the technical principles,
right? So
how the device works itself to interfere with these projected or directed frequencies.
So we've recently found not too long ago that obviously they use many different frequencies to attack us. For my wife's RNM, we first found it in the 630 megahertz band, and we have that band covered pretty good over here on my property. So I found they were getting through, and we didn't have the Silent Night device in the living room, and I was trying turning on and off switches on this signal eliminator box that I was fixing for a TI. So I was able to turn all the bands off that it covered and turn one on at a time to see which one would help my wife. And we found that they were using the 4G LTE 2100 band, 2100 megahertz band. So they can constantly change, on the fly, the frequencies used to send the RNM links or create that link, or the B2K. And we need a device that can cover a wide spectrum of bandwidth. So, I mean, if you were to buy, these signal jammers that are illegal in the States, depending on how you use them, you'd have to buy many of them, because most of them, they're pretty bulky, and you can buy the multi frequency ones, but they're big and they're heavy, and they have a lot of antennas. And if you block any of the emergency communication frequencies, you're liable to get looked upon from the FCC or
and in one TI's case, I remember being at a monthly meeting for Targeted Justice in Houston. They came knocking on their door because the feds come and knocked on the door, and of course,
they almost knocked it down.
yeah, exactly. So, but you've developed this. Yeah, go ahead.
She had a Silent Night device, and they took all the jammers that they had that her husband had ordered for her, and they left. The only thing they left was the Silent Night.
Because they didn't understand that, right? So
right, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
So
That and it's not the Silent Night's not a jamming device. It's a personal space shielding device. You know, it doesn't extend further out than 15 to 20 feet from the center of the device. So, you know, we're not looking to block emergency communications. We're not looking to block anything other than block the nefarious signals that are being used against us in our personal space. So, you know, this is one of the ways we've been keeping it legal. Um, and let's see, the manipulating of the frequencies. This, I guess you could say, creates more. It brings the noise floor up so that it floods what they're the signals that they're using. It'll bring the noise floor up, depending on what band we're talking about 30 dBms to 50 dBms on the lower sub-gigahertz frequencies. And they like to hide their stuff, their nefarious signals, in the noise floor, just right above the noise floor. So it's not too hard to overcome their nefarious technologies. And this is the only device on the market in the world that can cover such a wide bandwidth in one small little package.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a high powered signal blocker, but you know it's going to be about this big, and it's only going to cover 200 megahertz maybe. That's very narrow. The Silent Night covers everything from about 400 kilohertz all the way well past 12 gigahertz. That's a lot of bandwidth, a lot of spectrum, and I still today have not found any device that can do that in one package. And I can show you. I can give a quick demonstration.
Petite package too. It's very, very petite.
Right. I mean, it's just as big as the signal analyzer. You know, fits in the palm of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna we're gonna do a sweep.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, let's go ahead and do that demonstration.
I was just wanted to. So we're just gonna.
I'm gonna
hold that right there.
Give me just a second. Let me take off the screen so we can make the picture bigger. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, so that is 1 megahertz to 4 gigahertz. That's sweeping, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Let's see. Hopefully, I don't mess with the sound, the audio, but. You see how we brought the entire noise floor up?
Yeah. So what it's doing, it's intercepting those signals and changing them by elevating them.
Well, what it's doing is it's creating its own noise and bringing that bass. Let's turn this off because it's messing with my audio.
Mm-hmm. So we could definitely see how it did intercept that.
Bringing that noise floor up. So it floods their signals.
Armando, you're breaking it up. You're coming in and out, and your camera's
there
freezing.
You go. I'm sorry.
There we go. Yeah, that's much better. So yeah, we got to see that how it changes. What
is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Well.
Yes, you're kind of still frozen a little bit.
The electrical
going
field
in and out. Yeah.
Yes, around you.
Probably. Okay. So yes, we could definitely see how it did change the intercept those signals.
Well, correct. I didn't know it was gonna do that much interfering, but
it probably is like red alert to the first.
Sorry about that.
So
yeah, right.
But I mean such a small little device that has a big impact. Because I've become quite accustomed to using it every night, because we know at nighttime that's where they want to really uptick and try to, deprive us of rest and sleep, and they want to try to do manipulation and all types of things during the nighttime. But just out of curiosity, because I've used it for so long, I decided to unplug it one time, and wow, and then to plug it back in, it was such a huge difference. So I understand why you have such, positive feedback. I know that I'm not a technical person. I don't understand these components and anything about signal technology and things of that nature. But I want to, express, and maybe you can expand upon this, because this is a device, created out of love for protecting family and extended out to, the TI family to help provide the relief and the comfort. And as a result of that, we do need to, you just can't, this is not something that you should avoid, negating the instructions. With proper use, you get the full leverage of and the benefit. But if you just receive it and start, playing, around with it and stuff without knowing what those adjustments that you're making, and because it is a high power device, right? If you can cover that bandwidth of signal frequencies, it needs to be used, correctly. So I know that for those who have, bought it and had great relief, but then there were some that were not, benefiting with it, and some of it could have been just some adjustments that were being made on their end. Can you tell us about, what can contribute to a bad experience from your past? And I know that you've improved the design to avoid some of those pitfalls, like you said, a little
Definitely.
electrical shock. I think you're cutting in and out again.
Right. Actually, there's a mainly in and out on my side too. Can you hear me?
I can now.
What about now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mainly journey. There we
You're
go.
cutting
I keep
in.
losing you there.
Yeah, it just keeps coming in and out.
I know.
And your picture is freezing too. Give
Anything else? I don't know what's going on.
Well, if all else fails, you can just disconnect and enjoy
it
back
keeps going in and out.
Do you want to try disconnecting, coming back in? Because it really is freezing.
Hello?
Yeah, you're freezing. Can you disconnect and rejoin to see if the connection improves? And for the audience, this to me, again, this is something that is going to provide the community some benefit. And, that's when people are trying to help, those in the community, then these type of things happen while we're live on air. Are you back, Armando? Okay, he's going to disconnect and come back in for us. So while he is doing that, he did provide me a video and also some testimonies that there is one testimony, a live video on targetsourcellc.com that you can listen to as well. And these are some feedback from customers who have received the device. And this person, specifies that the device, the Silent Night, arrived, and lots of tape and marker on the wrapping, so it looked untouched, so it was not compromised, and thanking him for the quick follow-up. And this person stated that they tried it already and was receiving a huge difference. And so that's one testimony. And then on this one here, they are saying, I love my SK. I got used to the sound, and it now sounds. Let me bring him back up to the stage, and then we'll read this. Hi, Armando. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Yes.
All right. Now I can hear you. While you were reconnecting.
It's there. Okay.
Okay. While you were reconnecting, I was bringing up on the screens the testimonies. This person was stating that they loved their SK. She got used to the sound, and sounds as if it's Morse code device. I have it on 24/7, and so that's great. That was one testimony, and let's bring up another.
Right.
Here's one.
And the newer updated are a lot more quiet.
Yeah, and I can attest to that.
So,
it is so super quiet. I got used to the other one, the first one that I got, and I immediately woke up if it was trying to be interfered with. Like, it would go, silent. Like, it was, of course, walls popping, trying to do things and everything. I would wake up because that noise was not there. And it's almost like, my subconscious is like, there's something wrong. You need to wake up. But now with the new one, it's so quiet. It's so quiet. So sometimes I wake up and I'm like, okay, is it running? And then I hear this just very, very faint little hum to it. So I'm like, okay, all is good. I can fall back to sleep now. So, and then this screenshot, this person is also saying that the SK is working good. It is a total life changer. Thank you. I'm going to get one or two more from you in a couple of weeks to have for my children. And I mean, there you go. For those that, have,
and his wife.
Yeah, exactly. So now that you're back, there was a video that you had sent me, I believe. Let me see if I've got that. I can load it. I want to bring up on the screen too. The website is www.targetsourcellc.com. The email is silentnight.source@gmail.com. And then the phone number is up there as well if you have questions. And Armando also has an X page too at Target Source LLC. So let's see, the next question that I have.
You're cutting in and out.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
I can. It's just
periodically
it'll go in and out.
Okay, so how do you recommend integrating your devices? Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You kept getting. You keep. I mean, I don't have anything else connected. I don't know what's going on.
Well, we can probably attribute it to interference.
Are we good now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Obviously.
Okay.
I can.
So how do you recommend integrating your devices into...
Okay, there we go.
Okay, how do you recommend integrating your devices into daily life for someone experiencing ongoing attacks? I think there's a delay. Oh,
Just keep it
okay,
close
you
to
heard me.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it, and especially with the how they would attack my daughter sometimes. Just randomly, they'll start V2K in her, and you could totally see the change in her behavior and her focus. She shifts her focus, and we've taught her to because they'll use our voices, my wife and I, um, and we taught her is when you hear our voices, turn and look at our lips, and if our lips are moving, then it's coming from us. But if our lips are not moving, then it's not us; it's the monsters. She calls them the monsters. I mean, I've designed it to run 24/7.
We're losing you
So neither.
again. He's cutting out.
Okay.
Well, since we're having such technical difficulty, do you
You
want to
good?
try disconnecting one more time and coming back in?
There. Yeah. There. Yeah. How we looking?
Maybe try disconnecting and coming back in. You
Yeah.
don't have anything else
Yes.
on,
And
right? Nothing with the
keep it
then
with you
maybe.
wherever you go.
Mhm.
Okay. Nope. Nope. Nothing else is on.
Okay. I think he's going to try to come back in. I apologize, everybody, but this is, par for course of what happens when something that is supposed to be helpful to the community, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a couple of more testimonials. Armando is currently running a special for his daughter's birthday. That when he connects in, I can let him talk about that. I can only speak to what I have experienced with the Silent Night, and that would be, I don't know what I would personally do without it at nighttime, because I was so heavily interfered with, at nighttime. I hadn't had dreams in years because, through sleep deprivation and the other things that they do during the nighttime. But when I started to, um, use the Silent Night, I was able to dream again. And to me, that can equate to, okay, maybe I was finally getting due to a state of slumber to where it was the more restful type sleep where you have the dream state, and that's what I attributed it to. So Armando, am I still cutting in and out for you?
Yeah, I lost you.
You might want to
I'm gonna.
try connecting with your mobile phone, because I know that when
That's
other
what I'm.
guests,
That's
yeah, because when other guests have had this problem when they were connected to their computer, then when they
Yep.
tried
Give
connecting
me.
with the mobile phone, then they were very clear, and their audio wasn't freezing in their picture.
I would need to. I'll need to step outside and to get a clear signal, or maybe not.
All right, and so I was going to bring up a few more of the testimonies. Okay, that was the one that said it was a life changer and was going to order a few more for their family. Okay, and then this one is, thank you so much. You are the lifesaver. God bless you and your family and your business and keep you strong. And then thank you. This is where they got a new unit, and they were saying that it was, that new unit was pretty cool. All right. And okay, that was the same one, but a little bit more, a bigger image of it. All right. And this one says also the device works well. And then this one, you can see that he engages because they're asking questions about, the gap, meaning that's when you adjust the dial on the device. You can widen and lessen the gap, the spark, the arcing in the device. As Armando had said, you can tune it to where it is in more of like an ozone environmental for your environment, or strengthen or widening the band for the frequencies. So hopefully, if he's he's able to connect in again with us. Again, this is just one of the things when you do a live podcast that you're open to having these kind of interferences. And for the amount, for Armando's wife was the first one to experience this, and then it expanded on him for trying to help her by creating something to provide her relief. And in her symptoms, it was heavy V2K and, the, directed energy and the physical assault attacks on her that led him to create and start, trying to learn about this technology that can kind of interfere with it, and experimenting on it too, and then perfecting the craft, because like you said, he's always perfecting the craft. And in the latest version, which I had an older version and I have the more current one, if you weren't careful, like the antennas, they're telescope, antennas that expand out, you have to make sure that you're cognizant of not touching them, because you could get like a little zap. And or when you're adjusting the dial, well, the dial at that time was like a screw, and you had to have like a Phillips screwdriver to open up that arc or close it, and that spark gap. For me, I knew it was best practice that I had to unplug it, and I made the adjustments and I plug it back in, because you could get a little zap. But in the new version of the device, he's got the rubber covering over that dial where you don't have to unplug it to make that adjustment to the spark gap. In addition to, there's an internal antenna, as he had stated. So I wanted to mention too, because I saw in the comments that Targeted Justice had made a comment that, because of Armando, Anna is able to navigate around in DC, which is high, radio frequency zone. There were those from when earlier this year, when Targeted Justice went to DC, not for the rally, but before that were in, the, I guess, was it the Senate building or something like that, and did not experience the V2K. So, all right. So if you go into one of these government buildings and you're not experiencing the V2K, so that kind of says that, okay, there is knowledge that it exists, and in that building, it was protected from it. So that really spoke volumes, right? So, but again, for her day-to-day, Anna Toledo in DC, Armando had, given her these devices to help navigate all this. And she's able to do that effectively and not be down from the attacks. I know that she's mentioned this, multiple times, the benefits that she's received from it as well. So we'll try to give him a few more minutes. Again, he did tell me that he is running a special. If you have questions, you can reach out to him. It's unfortunate that there was such heavy interference during this podcast today that is preventing him from being able to speak to us in more detail. I can only speak on what I know, and I'm not that electronic technical signal person like Armando and Richard Lighthouse. I can't speak that talk, but he can graciously answer those questions. Let's put his information back up on the screen again for those tuning in. It's silentnight with a k.source@gmail.com. That is the email. Targetsourcellc.com is the website. The phone number that you can reach out to, this is within, the United States, the phone number is, you would need to use that one country code and then 346-579-8013. He told me prior to the broadcast he was willing to have his phone number published out there. To me, that speaks of the service that he wishes to provide this community. I know that if there's any adjustments that need to be made, or if the device is, it starts performing differently, he will fix that at no cost. I also want to mention that it's very important. You need to, for those who are experiencing the gangstalking, this device really needs to be coveted like gold, right? If you're having problems with home invasion and manipulation of your property, this is definitely something that you want to take with you at all times. If all possible, you have to. If you're experiencing those type of events with your property. So I wanted to put that out as well. Okay, let's see. All right. How is that?
Is that better?
It is. It is.
Okay.
All right. So
Awesome.
your
So
name,
sorry about
your
that.
name, that's okay. So your name came in different on this as Juan Pablo. Is this were you getting some help from someone else?
No, I just no, I just didn't I couldn't change the name when it asked me when it went to that section.
Mhm.
So I just hit connect, continue.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Well, I was explaining, and I
oh, you know
know.
what? I can. I'm sorry. It's letting me edit the name
Okay.
right here. Okay,
All
I
right.
got it.
No
Okay.
worries. And I was going to see if I could bring up the video that you had provided me to. Let me see if I can bring that up. If I can find it here. I might
I have
need to
to.
go. Do you have a video that you could share on here, or do you want me to try to bring up that one that you sent me? And I also was telling them while you were on about the special that you're running,
Mhm.
if you want to go into detail about that.
Correct. So the special we're running right now is the $3.99 plus tax and shipping for the Silent Night, or you can bundle up the Great Reset and the Silent Night together for $4.99, and that's tax and shipping included. And y'all, since they Square canceled me back in April when 2 days after I came out with the Great Reset zapper, they canceled me 2 days after that, and they pretty much blackballed me from getting any kind of other e-commerce merchant to work with me. So I'm not able to take online payments like I used to, where you could just go to my site and uh, make the purchase that way. Right, the only way we're able to take payments now is through Zelle or Cash App or Western Union for international. Or if you prefer Western Union, we could do that too. Um, you getting me? Are you receiving?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I know you had
Okay.
mentioned to me that they were giving you some problems with that, just trying to interfere with
Correct.
you being able to help others in that way, which, again, par for course when, you're trying to help others. All
Of
right.
course, that and they're trying to financially break me. So
You painstakingly. I was telling them, if anyone had any issues with the device, that they would reach out to you, and that you would troubleshoot and repair the device for them.
correct. We'll try to troubleshoot over the phone first, and if we can't figure it out, there's a lot of times where when we usually figure it out, it's something simple like switching power supplies, or uh, adjusting it correctly. But for the most part, our repairs are free. We just ask that you cover your shipping, back to the customer. Um, all the repairs are free for lifetime of as long as you have it. So I think it's only fair, because you have a lot of TIs that will forget to bring it, and we highly recommend to take it with you everywhere you go, because they will break into your house and they will sabotage it. I've I've repaired many of them where this was the case. And I don't expect everybody to remember everything, all the time. Um, it's especially for TIs that are, we're constantly getting beamed, um, and sometimes beamed to forget on purpose. Um, so we do provide, and go on to my site and fill out the waiver form, sign it, fill out your shipping information, so that at least we have that. But I'm always checking the emails for those waivers. As soon as I get, and they've been blocking a lot of those too. I've had plenty
Uh, and
of people
he
sign the waiver, and I've tried reaching out, email, phone number, and I get no response. So I'm pretty sure it's being blocked. Ah, great.
So what is the regular price of the
There you go.
SK? Now they're interfering with his connection, and he even went outdoors. Yes.
Wow. I think it's time. Let's try something a little different, huh?
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna drive. Oop, I forgot about that. I'm gonna drive to a cell tower.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Armando's having to go off the road
Ye-
just to try to talk to us today.
oh yeah.
That's just how much they just don't want anybody to hear what he has to say about the products that he carries. So there we go. The links. This is just live evidence of manipulation.
Every time it never fails, and I could be talking to anybody else regularly, and they don't even do it. Mess with those calls. I can talk to Lighthouse or Anna, and they'll pretty much they'll probably tap into the line, but they at least let us talk. You know.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm gonna drive to the cell tower, and I'm gonna park right in front of the cell tower, to see if they can interfere that way. So yes,
So,
they've been interfering pretty heavily since April, since Square Up canceled me. I was 3 months later. I was able to get a e-commerce merchant, Cornerstone, that is known to be right wing, conservative, and Christian, to work with me. But then they dropped me after 2 weeks. So
well, did they give you any reason for that, or?
now Square Up didn't, but Cornerstone did. They said they didn't want to take the reputational risk, whatever that meant. But at least they gave me a reason. You know.
Well, I mean, of course, your products are unconventional, and most people around the world that are not targeted are going to understand that what that is. So it's just, again, just trying to, silo and sequester us from getting the things that we need to bring us some benefit
Correct.
off of something that shouldn't be happening to us in the first place. The government
Right.
weaponization, using us as, pincushions, per se,
Right. Or
torturing
test
us,
subject. Just
yeah, testing us and how we respond to all of this. But, because of the end goal being mass on the masses,
right.
and to the point to where, even most wouldn't even know they're being manipulated, thinking that they're living their sovereign, autonomy lives with free will choice, and not understanding, what the
That they're
influence, or thinking that it's internally happening to them, like it's from them themselves, is what I'm trying to say, that it was organic when it's not. Um, I, Again, I think that, those experiencing that, to me, when all of this started to unfold to me, it really turned me to God, and connecting to Him, because really, in this this technology is so intrusive and invasive, and
without a
just,
doubt.
yeah, and it's just a gauntlet of things that you go through from a day-to-day basis. So I had asked, okay, so you're running the special, the Silent Night is $3.99. It's typically what price?
471. Um, it's the Silent Night's 471, and the reset is um 223 with tax and shipping included. So you're able to get both of them for 399, and that's flat 399 flat with shipping and tax included. Um,
That the
I thought
399, that's just for the SK, but the 499
no,
is for
no,
both of.
that's the 399 is for the SK and the reset. I'm sorry. 399 is for the SK, and the 499 is for the SK and the reset zapper together, and that's tax
Mhm.
and shipping included.
Tax and shipping included.
So
Uh,
normally for both, it'll come out to about uh, just a little over 620 something odd dollars. Um, so to try to help the community, and I just want to also state that this is my only income source of income. So you know, I'm trying to keep the doors open here, and still keep my family fed. Um,
mhm.
and still help the community at the same time. And I know a lot of us, they'll block us from getting jobs or good paying jobs that we deserve, and it could be hard, especially when you have a family to try and support your family uh, with what they allow us to
Yes, and even earlier this year, Armando's uh, studio where he builds all of the equipment, it had caught fire, and he was able to
Yep.
intervene quickly. To
Oh,
again, this is all about the sabotage, of what happens
yep.
when somebody's trying to help others that are being, tortured, and trying to bring some relief. So are you
All
about to
right.
that cell tower?
Yep. I'm looking at it right now, and I almost ran over a copperhead, or looked like a water moccasin actually.
Oh no.
It's okay. All right. Well, I got full bars, and looks like we got no lag. All
All
right.
right, that's good. That is awesome. So, um, and I know that I appreciate you, extending out that special offer that you did for your, daughter's birthday. I was telling them. Um,
Hmm.
Many, let's just, from your own words, I was showing the feedback that was given from the TIs that you have helped in the community. Can you give
Those are
us a
just a few,
mhm.
those are just a few. I have a ton of them that I've saved, and my mom finally, she stayed with us for a few days and was able to see live the people that I've been helping, and she was just amazed. Like she finally sees that this is true. Like it's everything I've been saying is true, and my 4 sisters don't believe me, but it's okay. My mom does. That's all that matters.
Right, and your SK reset zapper actually helped her with the pain that she was having
Correct.
in her back. We
Right.
haven't really touched much on what the SK reset zapper is in this particular episode. I know that in others we have, but can you, for those that may not have never heard of the SK reset zapper, that is more developed for those that are having the directed energy or the implant driven type of zaps and pain in their body.
Or the remote rape that my wife was dealing with for a little while, um, which she doesn't really. They pretty much left her alone with that. Every now and then they'll try to do it again, but she'll just grab her little zapper and give a couple pulses to her pelvic area, and it stops right away.
So this reset zapper, there's like a little button on this small box, and you
Correct.
push it, and then it disrupts that signal coming from
The new one that I've recently updated has a new circuitry, so it's a little bit lower voltage, but it's got a little bit more current, um, and it has a high and low setting, so you can switch it to low and high. And basically, you put the copper pads on the area of interest, like my wife would be the pelvic area, and you hit the switch to turn it on. Then you hit the button on the side to pulse it, and just a quick little tap will send that charge through that area and disrupt the nano or the implant that is there, and essentially disabling it and breaking that link that they had um, at that current moment.
And when it disrupts that link, your wife, you had said previously, was experiencing like quite a few hours worth of relief before she had to do it
Right,
again.
right. The relief that she was getting was about 4 to 5 hours. For the for, that lasted for about a month, and after that, they stopped messing with her so much. And as time went on, uh, it was less and less consistent with their attempts on trying to do what they were doing. Um, so pretty much, I guess you could say she's stopped them from even trying. I guess they gave up for the most part.
Well, that's good. They took the defeat there. So
Hmm.
we had I know we've had some technical challenges throughout this episode, and I believe I'm going to put this comment up here.
Okay.
NC underscore 201 said, and you had reviewed this earlier, but we were having a lot of technical difficulties. So can we just revisit what improvements you have made from an older version of the Silent Night to the newest version in terms of the bandwidth?
Yes, it was the bandwidth that I was increased exponentially. Um, the output power of the RF noise generated, um, and just the electrical field that it generates is it's much higher um, than it was ever with the previous versions. And most updates, as long as you have the same generation style of SK, most updates are also free, unless I have to add a component that will cost us, cost more than a few bucks. Then most updates are free. Like we said before, just pay for shipping, and we will take care of everything else.
That's excellent. And then this new device also includes the internal antennas. And you had set a name for the covering that before it was like just a metal screw, but now there is a rubber dial for
Well, it's just a marine grade heat shrink to protect you from the exposed bolt, so that you don't get the arc to jump from the bolt to your finger.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm. Now, tell us again about the ozone versus the widened frequency from how when you turn the knob.
so there's two settings. You have the plasma discharge setting, which you increase the gap distance, and it has the new update has a multi-point pinpoint discharge plate, so you'll have multiple discharges at the same time. And what you'll get is this: you want to set it right before uh, the breaking point of the ionization, and it'll spread from the tip of the plate, from the pinpoints, and spread almost like a little mini umbrella to the ground plate, to the flat plate, and it'll create many of them at once. And that is your corona discharge. That is what creates most of the ozone. And if anybody knows what a negative ion generator is, what it does for your air quality, um, definitely I would look into it if I were you. That's just one of the perks of running the silent night. Is you get essentially get a to clean your air in your house. I have one that sits right in front of the AC return vent by the filter, that runs 24/7. I never unplug that one. Um, so that being said, you also want to ventilate your house every once in a while, to get any of the toxins out. What we're breathing out. If you don't circulate your air in your house, you're breathing those toxins in, and it can be very unhealthy. So even if you don't use a silent night, it's important to ventilate your house and open the doors and windows for an hour or two, and just get some fresh air in there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very, very good advice. So, for those that are having the gang stalking, does the Silent Night help with any of the gang stalker tracking
It does.
if it's used in the car? Because
Correct.
the good thing about the SK is it has a USB plug-in. So if you have a
Right.
USB in your car, you can just plug it into the port.
Correct. Or if you had a little battery bank, which is what I usually use in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my cigarette lighters are already taken up with other stuff. Um, so I use a little battery bank that's only uh, 20,000 milliamp hour capacity, which is more than enough to run, for a few hours running errands. Um, but that being said, the tracking is disrupts a lot of their tracking for the locals, at least for the local gang stalking. I've experienced this myself as well as many others, especially in California for some reason. Um, but it seems like the feedback I'm getting is they're saying that their mob scenes, where they would have a group of gang stalkers, would either be too early or too late, um, to the place where they're passing or wherever they're going, and they just seem to be very confused and almost like discombobulated, like they don't know what's going on. Compared to when they usually do it to you, it's like everybody's right on cue, and so what I've done is I aim for two different bands of frequencies. As far as when I tune, I want to get the maximum output at these two bands. Is the Vercator tracking signal, which is in the 3900 megahertz range, and the sub gigahertz spectrum from 1 gigahertz down to 1 megahertz, because a lot of their attacks are fall in that range also. So the maximum output for the SK will be the sub gigahertz, from 1.5 gigahertz down to about 800 kilohertz would be your maximum output, and after that, it has a linear drop. But it doesn't keep dropping. It'll flatten out and stay flat all the way up past 12 gigahertz. Now, I'm not too quite sure how far past 12 gigahertz because my analyzer only goes to 12 gigahertz.
Mm-hmm.
But from the linear aspect of it, it looks like it goes quite a bit further past 12 gigahertz. Um, which I mean, most of the attacks uh, don't really fall up that high in that range of the super high frequency. Um, so we try to focus on the frequencies that are mainly used on commonly used against us. Um, but if they try to use other frequencies higher up, it'll be covered anyways. Um, so you don't have to know specifically which frequencies are being used on you because the SK covers it all. And that's another thing I try to state all the time is that there's no device on the market that covers such a wide bandwidth of spectrum as this one does. And it being packaged so small, it's very convenient. You know, uh, don't expect it to be don't expect it to be blocking anything 20 or a mile away or half a mile away, but um, definitely I designed it to be for your personal space to give you that personal space back um, as far as making it your space, and not a manipulated space that you have to uh, forcefully share with the perps. Um, we've definitely
It's like a personal space protector, right?
right.
It's
Giving
creating a shield around you.
correct if you want to think of it like that, it's creating a little bubble, giving giving your personal space back to you rather than having to share it with the perps that are attacking you unwillingly at that.
Absolutely. And there was a question asking, does the Silent Night block um, the Apple tags or any other tracking devices? Does it
If
interfere with that?
it can, if the Silent Night is close enough to the tags, because those are BLEs, those are low emission Bluetooth devices, so it's not really hard to interfere with those if you're close enough to it. But again, I didn't make this to be used as a nefarious signal eliminator. I've designed it to give the person using it their personal freedom back again. Um, so it's up to you how you're going to use it, and you know I, I can't stop anybody from using it otherwise in a different manner. But for the most part, we've gotten a lot of good feedback from many TIs.
Absolutely, myself included.
Right.
For families with members subjected to targeted attacks, what advice would you offer based on your own experiences to support them efficiently?
Uh, just have an open mind. Have an open mind when it comes to when they're explaining to you what they're experiencing. Um, I mean, I really don't know what else to say. Is within this day and age, with everything, with all the technologies that are being released, and what all the things that they're coming up with now, you have to leave that slot of possibility that whatever they're saying could actually really be happening or true. And I just say that just keep an open mind when listening to their claims and their experiences, because everybody's targeting is slightly different than the next person, the next TI next to you. So they have implemented many different technologies to get this around the same effect. Um, so it's
And
gonna be definitely gonna be different.
mhm.
Hmm.
And how can loved ones recognize the signs of targeting and, what initial steps they should take? Um, because I mean, we know all too well. You designed this for your wife
Right.
when she first came to you and was telling you what was happening to her. How did you receive
Well,
that? And knowing that,
she it wasn't necessarily like she came up to me and was telling me she's hearing these voices. They were making her think that I was cheating on her, bringing somebody into the house at night, and messing around in the bathroom or in the other room. I'm like, well, why didn't you just get up and go into the other room and see if you heard my voice and some other woman's voice? Um, but that's essentially how they got us arguing to the point where we almost divorced at one point. Um, but it got to the point where they wouldn't let her sleep, and she would go, 3 days without sleeping, and it got to the point where she just took some sleeping pills to go to sleep, and I didn't know how many she took, and when I looked at the bottle, she stopped taking these like years ago, and she just had an old bottle there, and when I picked it up to see, because when she was getting up for work that one day a couple years ago, she was very loopy. She wasn't all there. I'm like, what's going on? When I woke up, and the baby was just a infant at that time, and she she scared me, and I didn't know how many she had taken or what, but I found out later she had only taken two, but it was enough because she hadn't taken for so long to get her into that state of that she was in. So I called the ambulance because I was scared for her. Um,
mhm,
and she ended up they ended up putting her in a psych ward, or not psych ward, but just a hospital where
mental
they
hold.
assess, right, mental hold for a week. And after that, because of that, she found out what a targeted individual was. And when she told me that, I did my research and found targeted justice. And we went to the one of the meets that he was having. And from there, ever since then, I've been working with Lighthouse and Targeted Justice ever since then. He's really shined the light on what was really happening to us, to her mainly. Um, and once we found out what was going on, we stopped arguing. That we hadn't had an argument like that ever since, and that's 6 years, going on 6 years now. Um, so I guess you could say it was a single right mistake that she went to that hospital.
And
That's
unfortunately, they have used the V2K on, at the time she was 3 years old,
my
your daughter,
correct, my
and
daughter,
imitating her mother's voice, right?
and my voice, correct,
Hmm. I
and
mean,
and
it proves that there's no length that these criminals will go to manipulate, and try to destroy, a family, or
right,
people in general.
yep. They a lot of times I wonder if it's even human what some of these attacks, some of these so-called people are doing. Yeah, and a lot of it's AI generated,
Yeah,
but
it
there's still
almost
somebody behind the button.
yeah, it's like, I think it's a data collection. I think it's very much a sentient AI,
Right,
designed in the nefarious psychological breakdown and manipulation. You know, with all the guests that I've had on the Chosen Heroes, there's just the common thread of the trauma-induced torture, that
right,
whether it's, from an actual person who was in the MK Ultra program, to the ones that are experiencing the remote, you know, the latest, upgraded technology where you're not in an institution being tortured, physically in person, but remotely. That's where it's
remotely,
evolved into where we are right now, right? So
correct,
to me, it really just seems like this AI data collection of, okay, here's all of these subjects. here's the commonality of what, can disassociate and fragment a mind. And here are the techniques. And then I think it's like
Exactly.
a course that it just kind of unleashes on from individual to individual, knowing what the
And it,
probability is, of,
right,
okay, this will likely work versus, okay, this one's a little bit more resilient. So it ups the ante to,
right,
it's almost like
or changes,
like a
its
gauge.
technique. Yeah, and
It's a
that's another
measurement.
thing I forgot to mention is perhaps why the local gangstalkers get discombobulated is because a lot of their stuff is run by AI and set up by AI, in order to be so quick and precise. The running the silent night, even though it's an analog device, it does output a lot of digital noise, a lot of ones and zeros. So any kind of data that they might be collecting before is going to be corrupt now using the silent night as you drive and you're in town, because we know there's a lot of receivers that they have hidden in plain sight in the cities and towns, where it's as soon as you pass it up, it's picking up your biometric data and sending it to wherever, the data collection centers. And that's how they know if their harassment or their torture is working, is by that data collection of our biosensors that everybody has. um, so they'll know like your heart rate, if you're sweating, if you're scared, if you're angry. um, they'll know if what they're doing to you at that moment is working or not. And with the running the SK, that data becomes corrupt and stops right there. So the longer you run it, the more time you run it, the less updated data they're going to have on you, and pretty much their stalking and their harassment is going to fall apart. And I think that's the case that's happened with me, compared to what I was getting before. And now sometimes I don't even get anybody that follows me. Period. Right now I'm on this dirt road, and I've only had two cars pass me up. Um, of course, I'm not running anything right now, because if I did, I probably would have some connection issues. But um, it's like sometimes I don't even have to run anything, and I can go out and not run into a bunch of gang stalkers and stuff. So I don't know if they're just maybe giving up on me because they don't have that data anymore, that constant data they were getting, or what. But it definitely has to do with these devices that have been running, ever since I started making them.
All right, I was going to go back to some of the comments also. Let's take another one here.
Okay.
Okay, we did have somebody who probably recently joined asking about how much the personal space protector is. That is the Silent Night, and he's currently running the special for $3.99. That includes tax and shipping. It's
Correct.
regular, I think, $4.29 plus
No,
tax and
four
shipping.
470 471.
471. So
Correct.
he's doing this as a special for his daughter's birthday. His wife and child are subjected to this technology torture, the V2K and stuff. And he's perfected the craft of the latest version of the Silent Night is the new and improved. Those who have a previous model, he extended the offer to upgrade, and if the upgrade parts were under
Well,
a certain amount.
if the parts if that update required me to add a part, then I would let you know what it would cost. But I think I've only had maybe two or three updates that required additional parts, and they were all under $20, I think.
Okay, so I mean
So
that's a gracious offer. I mean, you're not
right,
having to buy another brand new device. You can have your current one upgraded. So,
correct.
thank you for offering that to the community because, again, through, you know, it's important for user to understand how it functions and to read the instructions. And if you are in any doubt, I recommend anybody, just reaching out first to Armando with questions and just not trying to, I'm guilty of it. I'll take something out of the box thinking I know how to operate it and end up, messing it up.
I've done the same thing.
you know I mean, the device is, it's a sensitive device. It is, electrical. You have to use caution. Read the instructions. If you, when in doubt, ask. you know so
Yep.
that's just, best practice. Let's see. And then looking ahead, do you have any new products or expansions that you'll be offering with Targeted Source? Anything that you are currently working on, or what do you envision, going forward that will help improve, the well-being and comfort of those in the community?
Well, for the most part, I just kind of stay busy fulfilling orders, and since it's been a little slow on sales lately from all this blocking of communications, um, I've been able to catch up a lot and actually work more on a little more on optimizing and creating a better SK um, for the user. But I believe in the near future, they're trying to push this 6G here soon, where you're not going to need a phone anymore to call people or to search the web. It's all going to be done in your head. And if you ask me, what they've been testing this past few years has been the pretext to doing that, to getting that to actually work. And when you get a lot of TIs saying that they have a direct link, it's live feedback. That's pretty much what they're talking about wanting to do to the masses, is to have a live connection with the other person that you're trying to call without using a cell phone. They've already been doing that for a few years now with TIs. So it's just we're just guinea pigs pretty much
Yeah.
for them.
Very, very good point. It's like the coming of putting all minds online, some, or
Right.
the hive mind,
Correct.
where you can easily, like a radio station, just tune in to someone's mind, and through, many methods that they have introduced to tainting the well of our biofield, right, to be more susceptible to this,
Right.
you know,
Right.
online mind status, right? I mean,
I,
this is
yeah,
all.
and I think
Mhm.
no, I think that in the near future, everybody's going to need a silent night, not just TIs, to protect your privacy, your neural privacy. So I'm kind of looking more towards the future, and I hope it doesn't come to be like that, where they're going to go through with their planned agenda. But if it does, people are going to need neural security, neural privacy security, and I think there's going to be a lot of companies popping up that's going to be providing that, and I think I'm going to want to be the first ones to provide that for the masses, if it has to come to that. So that's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
you know
look at us. I mean, we're the OGs. People, if this
yeah, yeah,
progresses,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're
We
the OGs of this.
are.
So they need to, they're going to come look at us. We've been dealing with this for years. I think the goal is they don't want anybody to know. They're trying to dangle the carrot in front of people's noses, like, oh,
They're
look at how sophisticated this technology is. You can make a phone call from your mind, and you can do a search. You don't have to carry a device, because you are the device. You've become the device, right? That receiver for that information. It's mind-boggling to, if we can think about what, exists right now, we know that there's probably far more advancement out there than we're even aware of being subjected to this. There's just so many layers and tentacles to this kind of manipulation.
Oh,
It does look like we lost Armando. We'll see if he's able to connect back in.
I got
But
lost
this
there.
is, yeah, there you are. Good. So I think it's just very important for our
Hello.
community. Yes. Can you hear me? It's so challenging when, you're in constant disruption from, frequency, people, trying to intercept communication here, especially the subject we were talking about, all brains going online. I think they all
Hello.
are right now. People just don't know it. So, but Armando, can you hear me?
There you go. I can hear you now. Sorry, I had to move around. There's these little single engine Cessna planes starting to get close already, and they like to intercept and interrupt my calls. Um, so I just didn't want to give them that chance while before we finished.
Right, exactly. Um, I was explaining that I think it's very important for people to to feed those that are unaware. In addition to reaching out to and reaching others, right? Making people
Correct.
aware of this, because we need to create this stirring of this is where we are in humanity, and without intervention, where we're headed is there will the goal is, I think, instead of sovereignty and autonomy, it's enslavement. Here we are,
Hmm.
little producers, on this
It's
earth. We're
enslavement
raised.
and silicon base. It's enslavement at a silicon base level.
Right, because we're just going to produce for the greater machine, right? We're going to
Right.
consume, and we're going to work, and and have to work harder because of the increase of taxes and food and all of these things. So we're just in this perpetual, I have to make more, I have to make ends
Uh,
meet, and all of
It's
this.
already like that.
It's a vicious cycle,
Right.
and then to know that, I mean, we know that these remote frequencies are very powerful and influential, and once in, and they're so convincing, there's many ways that they can use this technology, whether it be dead relatives, the voice of God,
Right.
the consequences. If you don't do this, then your family will be eliminated or harmed. So these are very powerful, and for somebody not even aware that this stuff is going on, and it's a distortion and a manipulation, if we can save somebody by just spreading this information, so that when something happens to them or their loved one, that they know that there's something bigger going on. I encourage you to watch Dominic Halpin's most recent documentary, Cognitive Liberty. Um, if you just search for that, he has a YouTube, and it spread that information that's in there. It has members of our community doing their testimonials in the video. Armando,
Oh
what
yeah, that was
else would
a
you?
very well done. That was a
It
very
was
well done
very well
documentary. I
done.
gotta. Yep.
Cognitive Liberty, Mind Control. There's links on the Chosen Heroes, and if you go to Tech Native's website, he is the founder of Tech Native. You can access it there, and then on his YouTube page. Armando, what advice would you give in this fight that we are in, knowing that our sovereignty and autonomy are, you know, at stake here as globally? I mean, all humans on this earth. What advice would you give to spread the word, and any kind of countermeasures in addition to the device that you made, which is that disruptor and can give relief to those in need?
I would say it's time to get up and being sitting on the sidelines is we can't do that anymore. You got to do something, anything productive. Even if you tell one or two people and try to work on convincing them and giving them all the information, the correct information. You got to do something. Is the time of sitting on the sidelines is over. It's time to get up and do something. um, Make something happen. It's not very hard. um, you just got to get push past that that motivation killer that they like to do on everybody. um, Once you get past that, it gets easier. But it's time to get up. It's time to stand up, because if you don't, our children are going to pay for it.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying our grandchildren. I'm saying our children now are going to pay for it.
Yes, I don't think there really is a future for
No,
humanity
I don't think so.
in the design that God created if we do not,
Act
rise up
now.
as people being subjected to these things and letting people know what's happening. We just need accountability. We need, the acknowledgement. I think that there will be more and more whistleblowers coming forward, ordained and predicted by God to bring forward that information that cannot be denied. And that to me is
Right.
what it's going to take. It's that divine intervention, because where we're headed right now is, it's just it's not good. The future's not good.
No.
And anything we have to do to protect the future, the children being subjected to these things, it's such
Yeah,
an
they've
early
already
age.
they've already started. They've already started grooming them and trying to train them already at an early age, and they're doing it right in front of us.
This is historical. MK Ultra had the program with the children and
Yep.
trauma and abuse torture that splintered
Project
and
Monarch.
splintered and fragmented their minds and disassociative states, so that those fragments that were split could be programmed and later accessed and executed. And a lot of these type of programmings that it was, espionage, kill programming,
Manchurian Candidate.
all of
Yep.
this type of thing. But that was so long ago, right? That was like in the 50s, and here we are today where they don't have to have you, with doctors
Yeah.
in a room torturing you and doing all that right in person in a facility. They can all do it from remote, and that's what we're going through right now. It's just an
Right.
evolution of what it was back then to where it is right now, and which spells for mass population override here. And then the things that are being reported as well, we could tell that there are people that are under heavy influence and just not even aware, and those are the ones that need to be aware
Oh yeah.
of, and see documentaries like what Dominic produced and these podcasts that give this information. There's too many of us for this to be deniable. We are reporting the same physical, and psychological impacts of this manipulation that is being done to us. Um,
Yep. I.
I'm
It
just
is
going to bring up,
definitely. Mhm.
yeah, it is definitely an agenda. And hi, Cool Breeze, Tony. I haven't seen you in a while. He's been with the Chosen Hero since the very beginning, and I hadn't seen you. And I had thought about you and hoped you were doing well. I'm glad to see you on today. Yes, and then twinkle twinkle to you, it's spiritual warfare, most definitely. The last thing that this technology and the people behind this heinous technology is wanting you to connect to your divine rights and your sovereign, being, and that connection to God. They need, because if you connect to God, you're raising your personal frequency, and they want to connect you through lower vibration frequencies that these these manipulative, distortive technologies run on.
Right. The spiritually speaking, the lower bottom feeding entities can only feed when you're resonating low. So
Mm.
that's why they a lot of times they'll
Looks like they're interfering with his connection again. Well, this has been
right.
some really. Are you there, Armando?
I'm still here.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Um,
Hmm.
there was. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. So WJ Skal says they found 6 frequencies attached to him, 7 if you include the recording signal. Yeah, it's just.
The recoding. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's this is what they want. They want to override us. They want to override and manipulate us. But I want everybody before we leave here today to understand just how powerful knowing what they are trying to do to us and attempt to do to us and are doing to us. That knowledge right there is very powerful. Are we able to, in any given moment, um, get out of that attack? Sometimes we have better luck than others, but everything that they do is very cyclic, right? So you have to recognize the patterns of what they do when they do it to you, but knowing that what their end goal is to override you and in your thinking, to keep you from living and
Connection.
produce,
Connection to God.
connecting to
They want
God,
us.
a higher power and
Yeah.
source, because that's higher frequency. I can't stress enough the amount of importance to maintain and nurture that connection. And I know for a lot of people they feel like they can't because there's too much interference, but just try, every single day. Don't be defeated by
Yeah.
it. But
Never
also,
give
again,
up.
yeah, never give up, never surrender. There's so many of us. This is really an opportune time for this amount of information coming out. I'm trying to work on the scheduling, for December and for January for the broadcast too. Bringing in more people that are brave and coming forward. Some being in the know and have been a part of projects that just didn't set well with their soul, and they took a brave step and wanted to reach out and speak out for the again, this is for humanity. We have to know that when we're speaking about this, we've said it before, speak about it as there are thousands upon hundreds of thousands around the world that this is happening to. I think it
Oh
makes it a
yeah.
little bit more digestible to someone that is not in the know to receive the information. You can play clips from the documentaries, you can play clips from the podcast, you can show white papers for, patents and all of this stuff, and keep it about the we and less about you and the granular details of, okay, they're using a neighbor or and all of this stuff. Because if we keep it in the we and the many that this is happening to, then they can't reject you. Does that make sense?
Right.
They're less likely to reject you when you're bringing it in. All of these people from around the world are having and reporting these same symptoms. Here's some
Same.
examples of it. This is happening to families. This is happening to children. This is all around the world. It's not in just the United States. This is how we win this attack, and this is how we transfer this information and knowledge and make it more digestible to someone that has had no idea that this is going on.
And that seems to be a lot of people. But Anna's working on educating a lot of them on the real facts and the real truth. So if anybody knows Anna, you know that she is not gonna stop until she gets what she wants.
Absolutely.
No,
She's relentless. She
she's
is a
not. She
warrior.
she is a honey badger for sure. Have you ever seen a honey badger go through the wild? Like they put a camera on one, and I mean, he got bit by a viper, and it passed out for an hour or two, and then woke up and it was fine. It killed the viper. It's gotten even fended off 2 or 3 lion. Lions. I'm like, wow. It's gone. It went through so much, and it's still alive. Even got hit with by a porcupine. And it just kept on going.
Just kept on
She's
going.
definitely a honey badger. Yep,
Well, you know
yep.
what? I think
No
every
matter
single
what hit him, he kept going.
that's awesome. That's a great analogy and a reference, and it's a good reminder to each and every one of us that we are much more stronger and powerful than what they want us to believe. We need to step out away from the manipulations about where we are presently, because anything is possible. And instead of focusing on where we are right now, and things look grim, we want to see the future ahead of us and know that we can reclaim our divine birthright, that we are having a bunch of manipulations through frequencies and the most sophisticated technologies trying to do system override on us. And sometimes, some days it's really hard too, especially when you're trying to focus so that you can provide for your family and all of this, and they're throwing every single curve at you that they possibly can. But we just have to get up and keep going.
No kidding.
We just have to keep up
I
and
mean, what
keep
else?
going, because
Yeah, I mean, you could either keep going or give up.
and I really do think that
You know.
this is that fork in the road that this experience, once we figure out what's going on with us. I know for me, it was you go right, and which is that narrow path, that narrow path of the hero that is described like in biblical. The narrowest path is going to be the most difficult, the most warfare and attacks being done to you, but it is the most rewarding. And if you just navigate that course, because the other flip side of that is to succumb to it and cease to exist, and they want us to believe that we're not worthy. But I want everybody to know today that each and every single one of you are worthy, and you're powerful, and you've got the backing of God on you. And no, it doesn't feel like it sometimes, but let's embrace the wins that we have right now with Dominic's uh, documentary. There is being more airway on prominent sources of independent reporting that are talking about the remote neural frequencies, the implanting, the all of these manipulations being done. No matter what, good, bad, and different, of do we believe what is being said versus another source, it doesn't matter at this stage. We are getting visibility. So we might not be always in agreement with some of the things, but we got to look at it as a win. Anything that is speaking about biohacking, nanotechnology within vaccines, frequencies that are being used to override and manipulate someone cognitively, any exposure to this to me is a win. So, and we just keep moving forward.
Only thing we can do. AT&T put in that patent in 2018 where they're able to read and manipulate your brain waves using your cell phone. So just FYI.
And how dependent have we become on those little boxes? We can't live without them. They
Well,
made it to where you cannot, if you try to go off grid, I mean, you really have to go like off grid, like in the
I
woods,
mean,
like
I I
Survivor
keep my phone in the
series.
Faraday bag. Right, right. I keep my phone in the Faraday bag most of the time, mainly because of the planes that constantly fly low, and I'm I'm guessing trying to collect the data and and link up to the phone in order to see who I've been talking to. But I don't quite understand why they have to do that. But um,
It's amazing
they
how much
def-
signal intelligence is in this with the
hmm
cells,
Oh
cell
yeah,
towers. I could have my
oh
phone shut off because it'll get really hot and my head's burning and all of that stuff. And I'll shut it off. And as soon as I turn it back on, here comes some random number from some, never heard of city somewhere. And I'm like, I think
right,
that they
right.
they they do they do they ping it so they could see exactly where that phone is right in that moment if I've gone offline. Like you said, having that Faraday, I find like, if you go to a restaurant and you have a good Faraday bag for your phone, give yourself some relief while you're trying to enjoy a meal, right?
Oh
Me
yeah,
personally, I've used the Mission Darkness one that it's a black bag and it has the liner on it, but I'm telling
right.
you, you have to roll it over twice, and it's with Velcro. That thing blocks out everything. When I pull it
Yep.
out, it even tried to go into satellite mode, and then all of a sudden when I pull it out of the bag, here comes all the notifications, advertisements, and everything just flooding in. So I
Yep.
could say that one works. Well, Armando, do you have any parting
Oh yeah,
words and
definitely.
advice for everybody? Because everybody, just if you have any questions, Armando's information is on the screen. You can reach out to him. His phone number's there. He's on X. His website is targetsourcellc.com. His email is silentnight.source@gmail.com.
hmm And last word is well, pray and trust in God, because in the end, doesn't matter. Nothing else matters as long as you are right with Him and you're doing what you're supposed to. He's gonna give you what you need when you need it, and he will protect you.
Amen, and solid advice, because we have to look at what is being done to us. This is mortal flesh that is, you know, gone down that nefarious, that greed capital road of, not valuing life um, at
Right.
all. You know, thinking that one
Yep.
life is better over another, and that the population is at free will for experimentation. So you're dealing with that kind of narcissist, devoid of conscious, uh, mindset that has created this. And that's why we have to turn this over to God to expose it. And then we do our work, which is we lift one another up. We're supportive. We spread awareness, and we never give up, and we
Spread the knowledge.
recognize our own personal power. And every single person on this earth has a divine birthright, and everything around you trying to manipulate you and to convince you otherwise is exactly what it is. It is a distortion of truth. So align with
Yep.
the truth, which is we are powerful, divine, sovereign beings under attack, and we need to band together and get the exposure out there.
100%. Amen to that.
Well, I appreciate you so much, Armando. I know we had a rough start with the technical stuff, but some good content was really covered today. And like I
hmm
said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Armando, and take advantage of the special that he's running. And again, once you receive it and you've read through the instructions, you got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. No question is you know too small or too big, right? You just want to
Right.
make sure that you follow the directions and use it properly to gain the greatest benefit for you and your loved ones.
There, I just wanted to add, there's really not any reason other than the sabotage during shipping that it shouldn't work for you. But other than that, I mean, I've pretty much made it to where it's very hard to sabotage, um, unless they open it all the way up, which it will be very noticeable if they do that. Um, so lately, I haven't had any issues with sabotage. So I think that's a good plus.
That is good. We want something so important to reach us safely and unharmed and unmanipulated. So again, I I use it every day. So then, and thank you for continuously, striving to, perfect the craft and to experiment and see what other things may help this community. It's much appreciated and valued, Armando, and I admire you for your tenacity and what you've done to help your family, and to extend that out to this community.
Believe it or not, I don't work a day in my life, and I found this by accident. But I love what I do. I love what I do. I love making these things. I love helping people mostly. When I get that feedback of the gratitude, it's priceless.
And it's much appreciated. I know that some people have had in the past maybe some challenges with how to operate, but you're there to help
Right.
them and if something isn't performing, then you're there to help repair it too. Again, it's just all out of
Correct.
you have a great heart. You did this for your family and you extended it out to this community, and it's as simple as that. We're in this. Nobody understands what we're going through other than this community itself, right? And the things that we
Correct.
have to navigate on a daily basis. So um, I really appreciate you for doing that for us.
I am here for y'all and whatever y'all need. We don't just sell devices and forget about it. We will work with you until we find a solution, until we get something that does work. Just gotta be patient. I'm I've learned a lot of patience over the last few years. So yeah, thank you, for having me.
You're welcome. You're always welcome as a guest here. You and your family. God protect and cover you. And I appreciate everything you've done for this community. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in this Sunday. It's been a pleasure having you all. The chat's been really active. I always love to see y'all chatting amongst yourselves there. And God bless. And again, thank you, Armando. And everyone, I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.
Bye. Peace.